Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Bonjour, mon amis. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy Friday. I hope you are having a wonderful week. We are finishing up a week with the Cognac Jewelry School. It has been so fun, so fabulous. These women have not only created beautiful, beautiful pieces of art, silversmithing, gaining new skills, learning all of these techniques. They are building community. They are connecting in ways that are going to go far beyond tomorrow morning when I take them back to the train station. These kinds of immersive, intimate, integrative experiences are life-changing. They are the pattern interrupt that you are either craving or had no idea that you needed until you were in it. These are such beautiful experiences, and we do have a couple of openings for 2026. So if you are interested in learning a new hobby, or if you're interested in saying yes to yourself and starting a business in jewelry design, then we invite you, Jessica of the Cognac Jewelry School, and I to join us for an all-inclusive either foundations week or an intermediate week if you are wanting to enhance the basic skills that you already have. So the link is down in the show notes. You can see the available dates. Of course, we also have several weeks in 2027 where we will be staying at my beautiful chateau, which is so fun. The 2026 dates are at another gorgeous chateau called Les Grands Logis, and it is surrounded by cognac vineyards in this darling little village, and it is a dream. I have loved being here this week, and I'm so excited that when I take this group to the train station on Saturday, I will be picking up the second group, and we will have another week of this dreamy goodness with a whole new collection of fabulous people saying yes to themselves. And I'm at work right now. This is so dreamy and amazing, and I'm grateful for this opportunity and appreciative that you are following along with us. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast, for making this a part of your weekly routine. And I hope it is also the fire that is helping your dreams come to life as well. Today's guest is Dr. Aumatma Simmons. She brings a unique perspective that combines nearly 2 decades as a double board certified naturopathic endocrinologist with a transformative approach to intuitive leadership. Her work recently spotlighted on major media outlets and an acclaimed TEDx talk centers on helping women trust their own bodies as guides through life's big transitions. Something that is invaluable for this audience of midlife reinventors. Dr. Aumatma is dedicated to supporting women, not just in the realm of holistic fertility, but more broadly in living purposefully and making empowered decisions from within. She's trained hundreds of practitioners and now teaches women how leading with silence can turn restless overthinking into clear, confident choices. With a robust community of followers all invested in her mission to create healthier families and leaders, she blends scientific expertise with heartfelt guidance, the perfect balance for you, sweet listener, seeking holistic reinvention. I know you are going to love this conversation with Dr. Aumatma Simmons. Aumatma, I am so looking forward to this conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Wendy. It's great to be here.
It's going to be so fun. So let's just start with the question I am dying to know. How are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Oh, yes. That's such a great question to start with, eh? Okay, so I am saying yes to stepping into kind of a major leadership role in a startup that I founded.
Amazing.
And that's been quite a major like transition and shift and like lots of what do I do with my other business and how is that going to keep running? But this is what's calling me right now and this is where I need to be present. So it's kind of a big transition in a lot of ways. And then the other main thing that I have said yes to is continuing to write my book called Hormonal Leadership. So this will be my second book, and it's specifically around this idea of how so many women, including myself, have kind of disconnected our heads from our bodies. And we've been taught again and again that our hormones are the problem, and what I've been exploring in my own life with my patients, clients, the people that I'm surrounded with, that maybe our hormones aren't a problem, but they're actually a gift. And they are our superpower if we choose to access them that way.
Yes, I'm so eager for this conversation because even, I mean, so much of what you just said in your yeses, I want to speak to. First, I love how starting a business or transitioning to a new startup and all of these things, they are a crash course of bringing your head and your body together, right? Because
Yes.
it's a crash course in personal development and it's like you're hitting your growth edges and
Yeah.
you are the visionary and the integrator and you're doing all of these things. And to do that in the midst of not understanding your hormones is what a lot of us are doing. I'll certainly speak for me. And what has happened for me, and I'm certain I'm not the only one, is that we hear the phrase, like you said, your hormones are the problem. But then that's the end of the conversation. Like,
Mm.
oh, okay, hormones are a problem and they're also not going anywhere. So, okay, I guess that just means I have a problem
Yeah.
and I live with the problem now. I mean,
Right.
just I'm so happy to be continuing to have these conversations and just kind of close this narrative loop of what are we supposed to do with that sentence and how do we translate it into just like any thought that is limited on any topic, how do we transform it into our superpower to be the thing that helps us get to our highest and best, whatever's next for us?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that the go-to in conventional or functional medicine, in my opinion, has been, oh, your hormones are the problem. Let's fix it with more hormones. And that's either birth control or bioidentical hormones, depending on which field you're in.
Right.
But again, I feel like I keep coming back to this idea of like, there's just no world in which something that is physiologically innate to our body, mind, spirit is the problem, right?
Right.
Like, I just can't, like, that doesn't fit into the way that I view the world.
Right.
So, and like, yes, hormones have been the problem for a period of my life where I was doubled over in pain in bed for a week every single month. And
Yeah.
then hormones were a problem when I had massive headaches, and oh, it was your hormones. And then like fertility. So just like throughout my life, I can pick out points where, yes, the hormones were speaking loudly. But I think that what I was missing was it's not that they are the problem. It's that something is out of alignment that is showing up in my body as a problem.
Right. They're an indicator.
Yes. It's like a blinking light that's saying, "Hey, something's out of whack. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you doing something about this?" And throughout all of those periods when I have opted to do something about it, that like fix the thing that was out of alignment, the hormones click into place and I'm like, "Oh, I feel amazing."
Right.
So it's not that we need to fix our hormones, but really we need to fix like the out of alignmentness that the hormones are indicating is happening.
Right. Looking for cause rather than cure,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because then we get both.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So lucky you. You are speaking to a person who has a full body yes to everything that you're saying. So none of this conversation is winning anybody over or defending what you know to be true in your body. So that,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you are speaking to someone who is in full alignment and is saying yes, please, to everything that you're saying. Tell me everything that you want me to know.
Okay.
If someone tells me, hey, listen, I think that we are the deliberate creators of our own experiences, and I have big dreams, but I also know these are only the ones I know about right now. And there are more big dreams coming, and they come when I start talking, and I'd like to talk. Are you in? And I'd be like, yes, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's turn thoughts into things. So you have your version of that
Mhm, mhm,
right now.
mhm, mhm. Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind is that we ought to shed light on the things that we are programmed with, which is you're hormonal, which is a bad thing.
Right.
So the first thing that I do is like, yeah, I'm hormonal and I'm freaking proud of it, right? Like, yes,
Yes.
I am hormonal. And what?
Your point would be yes.
Right. So that's step one. Then the second is, okay, I'm hormonal, but how do I learn to listen to what my hormones are saying? And what do I do with that information?
Right.
So the question of how do I learn to better understand my body, I think one of the starting points is tracking or understanding where we are in a cycle. And sorry, I'll take a step back because one of the first things to deprogram is this idea that women are little men and that our bodies have the same physiology as men, which
Right.
it does not.
Right.
So if we understand that men run from a 24-hour clock, so their entire body resets in within 24 hours. They sleep, they wake up, they have a new set of hormones, they're good, right? And those they stay relatively consistent from day to day.
Sure.
So, and like men have their own thing happening right now, which is a massive crisis. And we could talk about that on a different episode, but we'll focus on the women. For men, it is this 24-hour cycle is kind of what guides their physiology and their body. So there's a lot of consistency and there is very little that can destabilize it.
Sure.
For women, we are running on a 24 to 32 day clock, not hours, days, right?
Right.
So different things are happening on different days that are informing how we feel, how we think, how we operate in the world, and what's most aligned for us on that specific day, which is ever changing. So the confusion for so many men in this world is like, I don't understand her. She's always on a roller coaster. She's so emotional. She's so hormonal. Well, it's because A, you don't understand what's happening in her physiology, but B, like we're so disconnected from ourselves as women that we don't understand what's happening with our physiology.
Right. I have a question that will probably sound very stupid to many people, but is that hormonal trajectory and that day cycle, how does that change after menopause?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then do we become little men or
Kind of. Kind of. So I think the factual thing to say would be we operate on two clocks.
okay,
So we have our 24-hour clock. That's the circadian rhythm that is central to human physiology. Everyone has that cycle. If you don't sleep, you will feel exhausted the next day. There's
sure.
nothing that any hormone is going to do about it. Um, but we have this like added level of physiology when we're menstrual or when we're in our menstrual phases. Once we go into menopause, we default to the baseline for everyone, which is the 24-hour clock. And I think that women continue to benefit from following the physiology that has been for so much of our lives by syncing to the moon clock.
Right.
So for when I'm working with people that are in their postmenopausal years, it's yes, you're following the 24-hour clock, but I still want you to layer in what would be a menstrual cycle on a 28-day clock based on the moon.
Perfect.
And that seems to help a lot of people that are wanting to create things in the world and feeling burnt out and feeling like I must be doing something wrong because I feel exhausted all the time. And it's really like setting up these resources and following the cycle as if you were still cycling that really helps to get that restoration back. So
Mm.
even if you're not cycling, you can still live as if you're cycling.
It's the best of both worlds.
Yes. Yes, it
Like I'm
sure is.
cycling and not have to cycle.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
gig, I'm telling you. You'll
It's
love it.
awesome. It's awesome. So then it really is up to us to learn what's happening in each part of our 28-day clock that is so different and unique to our physiology. And then to translate that to the men in our lives who want to support us, who want to
Sure.
be there for us, but have no context for it because up until this point, we have been telling everybody that it's the hormones that are the problem, right? So as soon as we reclaim that, yes, I am hormonal. And what that means is this is going to translate into my life in this way. So what I would want to talk about next is probably just like, what does it mean in each part of the cycle then? So,
Please.
so
I
we can
appreciate I'm just gonna pretend I'm listening to your podcast.
Funny, I don't talk about this on my podcast, but it's
Right?
coming. It's
No, this
coming.
will be great.
um, so what we start with is our menstrual cycle. So day one of when we start menstruating is the day one of the cycle. That's the start of a phase. And for the non-cycling women, that would be the new moon.
Okay.
So we would sync to the new moon. And I have tried this out with a few men that are just like super excited about this idea. And they were like, how do I bring this into my business, even though I'm never going to be cycling? And I'm like, well, you would sync to the moon. Let's see what happens. And they're like very infatuated by the kind of nuances that they're like, oh, I feel different, right? Like things are different because I'm following these phases.
Right. Because there's intention and change
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. It's
Right.
beautiful. They will
Yeah.
love our world.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on in,
So,
gentlemen.
right. So they can. There are men that are waking up to this idea of like, oh, it's not just the women. And if we follow the cycles, which isn't a new concept, right? Like
Right.
ancient societies have done this forever. This is not
Right.
a new concept. I am just translating it into physiology, which is
Right.
my my superpower is just understanding the physiology. So, what's happening with our menses then? I relate this period to winter. So, the
Mm.
winter season is normally when things are cold outside. So, we're doing everything we can to warm our insides. And when you're menstruating, most women will be like, oh, I get really cold. I'm losing blood and I don't feel so good. And I want to sit by the fire and have a cup of warm tea. And that's a really good state to experience while we're in this winter phase. So the first 3 days, everyone has different hormones, and some women bleed for 7 days, and some women bleed for 2 days, and it's all over the map. But I generally think of winter as the first 3 days. And the reason for that is that's when our physiology is at its baseline. So that's when our body has the lowest level of all hormones are at their baseline. So we are essentially this empty vessel that we can receive into. And what we can receive during this time is intuition, is
Mm.
access to embody our wisdom in the body. So as we
Yes, yes,
cleanse
and
and
more yes.
purify, right,
Yeah.
it would make sense that if we are physiologically empty, we don't have any hormones, then we can receive whatever it is that is coming through. So we become a really clear channel for this intuition to come. And for me, it's been really helpful to have access to this intuition, to spend extra time during this phase to really drop in and get clear on what's important right now. What is the most important thing? And of course, I'm going to do this multiple times throughout the year. I do it at the end of the year. I do it in the new year, right? Like there's other times where I'm doing this reflection. But the monthly check-ins are really the review of the past month and review of the month that's about to come. So it's not the big perspective. It's not the like 5-year vision. It's more like the 1 month vision.
Right.
And I get really clear on like, what are my priorities right now? What could I be doing in the next month that is going to move me closer to the vision that I have for my life?
I love this. I'm so obsessed with this practice because I'm so happy because I do this
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
And of course, there are collectively, we're doing that at the end of a year or the
Yeah.
beginning of the year. Some corporations might do it quarterly
Mm-hmm.
and just with different goals and deliverables. But for the entrepreneur or just to be connected, like you said at the beginning, of this alignment, of this connection with our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
to use that time not to take inspired action,
Mm-hmm.
but to sit and reflect
Mm-hmm.
and channel the intuition and know that in that time where our body is wanting to stay close, stay warm, be comfortable because it doesn't feel comfortable. We don't really want to do anything. Not I
Right.
remember. We
Yeah.
don't really want to do anything. And I have a
Yeah.
12-year-old. So I'm glad I remember because I can remember for her and be happy and be kind to her. Um, but there's a lot happening
Mm-hmm.
in that intention setting, in that reflection time, in that wintering
Mm-hmm.
that
prepares us for what's next. So
Yes.
all to say, I am picking up everything you're putting down. Please.
Thank you.
Did you know this was going to be like the meeting of your fan club? I'm loving this. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Of
Wendy.
course.
Okay, so winter is this slowing down. A lot of women will come back and say, well, I just can't stop working, right? I can't clear out my life. I can't just sit on the couch and do nothing for 3 days. Like, okay, I hear you. But what have you said yes to that is not in alignment and that you should actually get rid of from your calendar? So this is really the time to prepare for saying no and clearing away what's not truly important. And if you have to go to work, you go to work. But you can still go to work in an intuitive way, right? You can be present at work with your intuition fully tapped in. Like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to have all these meaningless conversations. I'm just going to like be in words. And I'm going to allow to receive whatever the wisdom is that I need to receive while I'm showing up to work as I need to. So,
Oh my gosh, so good.
yeah. And for young women, so if your daughter is listening to this, then like,
She
it's okay.
won't, but yeah, anything your mom says is kind of an eye roll. So, but me knowing it for her is helpful.
Yeah. So even like you're not necessarily saying don't go to school for 3 days, right? You can still go to school. You're just remembering that this is not the best time for you to be sociable and have all these conversations. And you're just going to school and like be inwards, slow it down, quiet down. Be with yourself as much as you can during that period of time, whatever that means for you.
Right. And the beauty of this practice is you're going to get another shot out of it in 4 weeks. So
Yes.
even if you're like, yeah, that would be really nice to not take meetings for 3 days. Well, in 28 days, you can clear that calendar so that it doesn't happen again.
Yes.
We are getting these opportunities to reset and recalibrate all the time. And that is also intentional.
Every month for years and years and years.
Right. Which now it's like, oh, I'm going to make this cycle work for me instead of take me by surprise all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So great. So we've got winter. Then after winter is spring. So spring is the starting of blossoming. So this is also the starting of your hormones. So your hormones will start to increase. There's a lot of different hormones happening all at once, but the key ones are testosterone and estrogen. And estrogen, I call the superwoman hormone. It makes you super energized. The testosterone's also helping with that, but it's also making you super magnetic. So during this time period, it's an outward focus. So you're connecting, you're doing all the things that help you connect with the world in the way that you choose. And that's going to be different for everyone. But the goal is to really be the amazing human that you are here to be. And that like increasing of hormones will peak in summer. So summer is ovulation. It's also full moon for non-cycling women. And that phase is really you're going to feel the most magnetic. It's the most most connected. It's your fertile time, quote unquote. And that fertile time is the coming to fruition or the blossomed full version of whatever it is you're creating this month. So if your goal is having a baby, then that's the time that you're conceiving. But if your goal is putting out a new business project into the world or starting whatever you want to launch, whatever it is that you're passionate about, this is the time, right? So you're coming into full blossom and showing up in your fullest self. It's also, I tell women, like, this is the best time to like find networking events and things like that, because you're super connected. right? People are like, who is that woman? How do I
Right.
connect with her? Right? So
Right.
if you don't like networking, do it during this time and you'll have a very different experience.
Right. And you'll have the collective energy of the actual full moon
Right.
if you are,
If you're synced up that way.
or you're using the moon cycle because you're
Yeah.
not cycling
Right. Exactly.
physically.
Exactly. Yeah.
World domination in the most loving form. Here for it.
So that's going to be spring and summer. And then to me, summer kind of elongates. I live in Houston where it's summer to like November. So that's kind of it's like a relatively long summer. So even though you're not super fertile, your hormones are still kind of going down, but they're going down very slowly. And you're actually going to have a second surge of estrogen during that cycle. So you're again at this like peak hormone, peak energy. You feel amazing. You're doing all your amazing things in the world. And then it slams right into fall. It goes from like 80 degrees to 50 degrees overnight. And you're like, wait, what just happened? Houston is like the perfect place to
so
experience all of this.
Right.
And it's a very quick transition. But fall in nature is designed for you to harvest all of your things that you planted and blossomed and grew all year. So this is like the mini version of it. So you're harvesting everything that you blossomed into for the last month. And I very much have started using that period of time. It's like the week before you start your menstrual cycle is going to be the most important time for you to assess what went well, say no to the things that were not the things for you, and to get clear. In the fall, the leaves are falling. It's making vision clear, right? If you were in a field where it was just trees for days on end, and then all the leaves have fallen or they're starting to fall, you're seeing it clearly, right?
Exactly.
You're seeing things more clearly. So during that period of time, things get very clear. And some of the response of our hormones when things do get clear is anger, frustration, sadness. And all of those emotions are just giving us a sign of, hey, you were doing these things that weren't actually the most aligned things for you. You said yes to things that really should have been no's. And you have the opportunity to recalibrate. You have the opportunity to slow down, to fill your cup, fill that harvest, and get ready for winter. And if you do fall well, you will have an amazing cycle the next month. If you don't do fall well, which this is still true for me, and again, like you pointed out, you have next month to fix it. So not a big deal. But
don't worry, it'll come back.
I have definitely had falls where I did not do the harvest. I did not slow down because I had already overcommitted myself and didn't have the foresight to say, actually, I'm going to clear that stuff away. So I didn't do it in the winter. I didn't pay attention in spring and summer because I was all like bubbly and doing all the things and being out in the world doing my awesomeness. And I forgot that fall needed to be more discerned.
Right. And attended to.
Yes.
Because all of these things are indicators.
Yeah.
The hormone is an indicator. The emotion is an indicator. Our response to how mad we are that we didn't fall correctly when it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like I get fall every 28 days as well. And I still can't do it's just, okay, we're looking, that's an indicator. And now I want to make a change.
Yeah, exactly. And our bodies will tell us. So the menstrual cycle, when you receive that, is going to be the quote unquote report card of how your last month went.
Right.
So even I, the hormone expert, right, for like 20 years, still have cycles where I'm like, oh crap, the cramps are crazy now. And then I look at my last month and I'm like, yeah, I didn't really do fall. I skipped over it or I just kept going. And I was like following the momentum from spring and summer and didn't really take the time. So, and it's okay, right? Like I know now that it's not a make it or break it. It's like I know what I need to adjust and I know that the very next cycle will be perfectly fine. So I
Right.
don't freak out about it like I used to when I was 12, right? So that's kind of the seasons and what's happening with our hormones and how we bring that into our lives on a day-to-day basis that is a little more applicable, I think, than having to explain to our partners, like, oh, I'm hormonal or I'm PMSy because my hormones are shifting. Like, yeah, that's true. But it's also because you're out of alignment with the things that your body is calling you into, your physiology is calling you into.
That is so helpful. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love even how you are integrating like what you're doing in your business during those cycles as
Mm-hmm.
well,
Mm-hmm.
in this desire to be embodied, in this desire to be in alignment, in this desire to reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
What steps can we take
Mm-hmm.
to do that and to
Yeah.
do that well? And is there anything beyond the intention and inspired action, or will that actually remedy the physiology?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that often we'll remedy the physiology just to do that.
I think so too, because everything's energy.
Yeah, totally. So we start with tracking. I think tracking and awareness is always step one, right? So
Sure.
understanding where you are in which phase. And then what I do is when I start my cycle, I go pull up my calendar and write day one, and then I'll write winter and then color code the rest of it, which is like spring, summer, fall. So my entire month gets coded right when I start my cycle. I know exactly what day it is, and then I know what the rest of the month looks like. And then I go through week by week and say, oh, this is this event, this thing that I have to do, these 5 podcast interviews on this day are actually out of alignment for where I'll be in my cycle. So unfortunately, my assistant gets a message and I say, hey, I'm going to need these things rescheduled because there's just no way that I'm going to do 5 interviews on a day that I should really be resting and intuiting, right?
Oh my gosh, this is blowing my mind because I also record 1 day a week and
Mhm.
I love it. And sometimes I've had as many as 6.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I'm having 6 like I am on fire, like it's so good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I could change the world. You could change the world. Let's change the world. I'm going to go to school
Yeah.
pickup. My Amelia gets in the car. I'm like, we could change the world. And then sometimes at the end of those, sometimes less, 4 super
Mhm.
high vibe, fabulous conversations,
Mhm.
I'm spent.
Yeah. You're
And
exhausted.
that's an unfamiliar awareness for
Yeah.
me. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm Wendy effing Harrop. I don't get spent. Like that's what sleeping's for. I'm a generator. I'm an extrovert. I'm only available for what delights me. Why in the world am I tired? The sun's still up. What's happening? So this is so helpful
Yes.
because I will look at the
You look at
astro
the moon
planner
cycle
to
now
find
and
out. I'm
see.
like,
Yeah.
oh, look
Yeah.
at that. There are so many tools.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So getting in tune is going to be the fastest path. And then it's just learning like the little nuances, right? Like, oh, in spring, I do all of these activities that I need to do for work. And summer, I do these things. In fall, I do these things. So I kind of try to organize my calendar and my life according to that plan.
That's so
And
fun. My
it is
favorite
fun.
thing is to move into a new calendar, and I love paper calendar. So
Uh-huh.
that's such a fun practice
Yeah.
to calibrate
Hmm.
how I'm going to be in most contribution
Hmm.
to myself,
Hmm.
which will then, of course, have me be in highest contribution to my daughter, to my community, to my podcast listeners, all of these good things.
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
amazing. Now, if someone isn't living my dreamy barn life or doesn't have an assistant living your dreamy hormone doctor life, what tools can they use? What can people do if
Hmm.
they're like, how do we winter, like you said, when
Hmm.
you still have to go to work or you still have
Hmm.
to go to school or you still have to turn in that assignment or whatever?
Yeah, and like I think what I've realized is that some things in our life are non-negotiables. Like they just have to get done, right?
Yeah.
And you are the only person that can do it. So get over it and put on your big girl pants and do it. Those are the non-negotiables. But a lot of times what we think is non-negotiable is actually very negotiable. So to say to a client, and this is like I have been in practice for 20 years, there was a time when I didn't have an assistant. For the
Right.
first like 7 years of my career, I didn't have an assistant. So I was the one person answering phone calls, writing emails, seeing patients, doing all the things. And I was not living according to this calendar cycle. And I was burnt out. Like by the end of that 7 years, I was completely burnt out. And so I know what it feels like to get to that place. And this, like, had I known this then, I would have prevented myself from burning out. But
Mm.
if I look back during that period of time, it was always the pressure of, oh my gosh, I gotta like call these people back. Oh my gosh, I gotta like get back to these emails. And what I realize now is that I could have simply sent people messages that said, hey, I'm going to be able to do this, but I need an extension for 3 days. And most people would not have flipped out about it. Like 3 days? Yeah. Anybody can give you 3 days.
Right. I think something happens in our maybe in our early conditioning that then just becomes a habit that we practice and really build our whole life on
Mm-hmm.
without realizing it, is that if any other person is even mildly impacted by our not doing what we said we were going to be able to do, or doing something really fun and fabulous like go on a trip to France with me, that it can't happen. It can't happen. We can only take care of ourselves if no one else is impacted by our decision.
Right.
And I just want to say out loud, although that may be something that we have tolerated or practiced, we are no longer normalizing that.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be impacted. You are impacted by everyone else making all the changes that they need, and
Mm-hmm.
you're doing just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be
Yeah.
gracious with ourselves and take care of ourselves and be gracious with other people when they need an extension as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And like realizing that burning out is not really helping them in the long run.
Right. Who wins? No one.
Yeah, no one wins. It's like you have to put your oxygen mask on first,
Right.
right? You can't
And
take care of your
everyone
child, you
knows
can't take care
that.
of your husband before you do all of those things.
Right. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And yet they still say it every single time we get on the plane because we actually might know it, but we don't practice it.
No, and in those moments where the pressure is real. Like if there was a time where an oxygen mask would drop and you would need it on an airplane, your instinct would be, oh my God, I got to protect my child first. Right. And that it is our instinct because that's in our biology. It's human biology and it's female biology, especially. So it makes sense. But what it doesn't account for is that if the pressure is too high and you pass out, there will be no one to take care of this child. So,
right, we're playing the long game here.
Yeah, it's the same in our lives. Like if the pressure is too much and you haven't put on your oxygen mask, everything else will domino from that. And it's harder to come back when it's been a slow burn over a long period of time, right? So I think the first 4 years for me, and then I was burnt out and I kept going and going and going on burnout.
Right. Well, because you're the one who wanted this practice. So you're the one that's going to have to figure out how to do it and do all the things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Until finally being like, okay, I can't keep going like this. This is going to not help anybody. And if I'm practicing fertility, like how am I being the example of fertility? So it took me years to like get out of the cycle and break it and realize like, oh, I can keep making excuses for why I can't, or I can just be like, nope, this is what I'm doing. This is how I live my life. And if that doesn't work for you, then we're not a fit. It's okay. Like you can go find somebody else who's willing to burn out.
It's such a pivotal, gorgeous moment in time. I mean, it's sad that whatever it took to get to that moment, but that awakening of, okay, this is no longer sustainable. And there's so much realization of we did it to ourselves. And there were outside circumstances that created an environment that made it very easy for us to do this to ourselves, but we did in fact still do this to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we come to that point, we have so many options, but one is to be mad that it took this long to get to this point, but that is also not in service. So just being grateful and appreciative of, okay, this can't happen anymore. And now I am taking one step in the opposite direction. But if the train is going 100 miles an hour in one direction, it's not going to all of a sudden go 100 miles an hour in the opposite direction.
Right.
And we wouldn't want it to. It's not.
No.
Like that's not going to feel good in your body. And it's going to be bad. So taking any day is the best day to stop and then start going in the other direction.
Absolutely. You can start where you're at. You can make one shift this cycle, one shift next cycle, one shift next cycle.
Right.
And before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel better. Oh, my energy's coming back. And then you've kind of slowly and easily reversed that ship or that train.
Oh, it's so good. And then, as you're saying, with that alignment, the physiology of your body recalibrates to alignment as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. So good. We can do that. That's amazing.
Isn't it? I think it's so cool. And the fact that we have these like incredible hormones, like the gift of the feminine, to be in connection, in community, to facilitate deep relationships, to magnetize what it is that we want in our lives. All of that is possible when we are in tune with these hormones rather than shutting them down or disconnecting from them.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. please tell everybody where they can find and follow you. Tell us especially about the podcast. I will be listening, and I'm sure everyone wants more of your fabulous goodness. You're so magnetic and amazing. I could talk to you all day. In fact, if there's anything else that you want to add, please do now, but then also tell us where we can find and follow you.
Yeah. So the best place is Instagram at Holistic Fertility Doctor. I'm very active on that platform. So feel free to drop me a message, drop me a note, all the things. I do have a book that I'm working on. It's called Hormonal Leadership. So literally what we've been talking about today. So if that's something you're interested in, I think we can put a link in the show notes for people to like get the pre-release first chapter and then like know and be in touch with all the things that are related to the book. And then podcast is called Egg Meets Sperm. It's very fertility focused, but we do talk about all the woo and the energy and all the stuff. So yes, it's a fertility focused podcast, but honestly, the more I do this work, the more I'm in this field, I'm like, fertility is how we create in this world.
Right. I mean, I tend to stay away from the comment of, I wish I knew then what I know now, because like we're all just doing the best we can and we had access to what we had access to. But as a woman who suffered, but experienced infertility, I mean, we adopted our daughter from China after 24 Mother's Days of me wanting to have a baby and not having one in my house. Yeah, it was a long, painful, confusing, misaligned experience. And it's really fascinating to see how what I do know now, I can see how I could have impacted that experience differently. And I love that doctors like you exist. And I love that you are just sharing your wealth of knowledge, because I would have benefited from this. I am also like obsessed with how it turned out. But during it, I was less obsessed with how it turned out. So I know everything happens the way it's supposed to happen and all of that good stuff. But to say, as a person who experienced infertility for decades,
it's a long time.
I love that you're doing this work.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's hopefully shifting how we approach fertility in the world.
What's amazing. And I'm happy for your clients.
Thank
Hooray
you.
for that. Yay. Thank you so much. I loved this conversation.
Thank you. I loved it just as much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.